Good morning, everyone. I'm going to open this meeting for the Polk County Board of Commissioners for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. All commissioners are present. Announcements are on the agenda. Extra copies are on that side table. First item up is for comments for items not on the agenda. Public speaking time. You're missing your chance. Going once, going twice. Okay, moving on. Looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, passed unanimously. Approval of the minutes from November 26th.
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, passed unanimously. And approval of the consent calendar.
I move approval.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, passed unanimously. BSO update. Here's the gravy.
Da-da-da.
Since you like the stage, I will just let you introduce and put everybody on the record.
Oh, that is perfect. For the record, Brent DeMo, I'm the Director of Polk County's Family and Community Outreach Department, and to my right,
Excuse me. I'm Joe Bell. I'm your county VSO.
And I'm Stephanie Gilbert, the Program Manager for the Family and Community Outreach Department.
we're here this morning just to give you guys a brief update since we've had some transition in the veteran service portion of our department. Two things that I want to say, and then I'm going to turn it over mostly to Joe for the update and also Stephanie. One of the things we did is we hired Mr. Joe Bell. We're super excited about that. He's in officially on board for about 3 weeks and a temp about a month before that.
Yeah.
Somewhere right in there. And I can tell you from every perspective, as the department head, things are going super well. We have not missed a beat. We are seeing tons of clients and just getting the work done, which is the whole point. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is to have consistency in our department. You guys know that Stephanie supervises every aspect of client services and resource center operations. And so the Veteran Service Office has also moved under Stephanie as far as supervision to bring that consistency. And also because we went from 2 full-time VSOs to only 1 because of the budget shortfall. And so Stephanie and Joe are working and implementing a plan where the rest of the resource center team is offering that additional support to help Joe out so he's not feeling overwhelmed at all. So from my perspective, those are the 2 big things I wanted to share. We have some numbers that we want to share with you guys, a couple of success stories, and then we're happy to take any questions at all. And if the chair allows right after that, if you want me to give a quick update on things related to the holiday project, I can do that too.
Okay.
And that will be 1 minute or less, maybe 2. So before we turn it over to Joe, Stephanie, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, we've moved our veteran service offices to 5 days a week. So we've got staff there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, doing that kind of stuff. Our connector team is working alongside Joe to help with those really immediate needs. So helping connect veterans to food boxes and other financial support while they're waiting for other things to happen, and just answering the most basic questions that we can so that when they make it to Joe's calendar, they're taking appointment slots that they need and they're not having to be pushed out 6 or 8 weeks to wait for those appointments. So we're really excited that right now we're pretty consistently staying about 4 weeks-ish out.
3.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
really nice, not a long wait for people to get in. It was really great.
One of the things I told Joe that I really appreciate about leadership and the board at Polk County is how relational we are, how we like to know each other as people as well. So I asked Joe just to take a couple minutes and talk about himself as a person, his role in Polk County even before he was VSO, and then we just have a couple of things to share also. Mr. Bell.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning, welcome.
I put some notes here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Sorry. Challenging trying to remember which glasses go, reading and not. So I am I grew up in Polk and Yamhill counties. We moved up here to my family farm out in Willamina on my 4th birthday. So I've been here 68 years, something like that.
That's a lie.
In that time, I graduated from Sheridan High School. I ran away and joined the Army after that. I served 4 years in the active duty at Fort Hood, Texas, and then came back up here and did my last 18 with the Army Guard, and 16 of that was full-time. I did at one time, when it was time for the interview, I was over in the other county annex building there, and I didn't recognize it because when I was over there before, I worked in the armory across the street, which isn't there anymore. But here we are. So let's see, I retired from the military in 2019, earned a bachelor's in management in 2011. That took me 16 years, so that was a work in progress. Long work. I worked at ODVA from 2019 to 2024, where I served as a VSO trainer there, among other things. We went and presented to communities, talked with sister agencies at the state, with kind of give them pointers and program updates as we understood it from ORSs and how the agencies work together. Basically, their plan, their let's see, the things that they had for veterans, the benefits, basically the state benefits, and that every agency implements their own. It's not on necessarily Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs or like here, the county. Each agency administers their own. And so we would discuss with them how best to administer those if they had questions, or how we understood the law, or just to update their new folks on what was going on. Let's see. I'm married at 20. I've been married for 27 years. I've got 2 kids. I've got a 22-year-old at OSU. He's going to commission at the end of this year. He's going to go into the Guard too. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's at Independence Elementary School. She's in the Spanish immersion, the 80-20 program. And she fancies herself a model. She's had some shoots and things like that.
In my house, we call them princesses.
Yeah. We have many princess dresses at home,
Yes.
too. For the record. Let's see, after coming back from active duty, I moved to Monmouth in 2006, Independence in 2016. Since then, I have served as a board member on the Independence Heritage Museum Advisory Board. I helped them move locations, built a couple of exhibits in there. I've also served as the commander and vice commander of American Legion Post 33 in Independence. I've been a board member for Central Youth Sports. I ran the football program, tackle, flag, through K through 6. And I've coached baseball and football for the last 15 years, off and on out there. 2019, I was an assistant coach for Central High School when they went on to win the state championship. Yep, totally because of me too. And then I have umpired for many years in the local community. So engaging with youth and also engaging with our veterans, it's kind of my sweet spot, what I enjoy doing, what I'm good at. So since I've been in FCO, I built some efficiencies in the job that both Brent and Stephanie have talked about. Getting some of those things that are low-hanging fruit, that are easy for folks. If they need forms, if they need directions on things that the VSO can't help with, but the FCO can. So immediately we don't have there's not resources at specifically through the VSO for things like homelessness, but there are county resources, there are state resources, there are federal resources, right? And so to try and get some of those folks in and work with the rest of our staff, I've been trying to figure out, I have, it's a work in progress, but I'm figuring out the programs that are there and how to best utilize those and how to redirect folks when they come in and they have a need that I can't address immediately. And I've got a couple of success stories surrounding that. Let's see, since I've been here, I've seen about roughly 150 veterans, widows, spouses, some through phone appointments, most through in-person schedule, a bunch of walk-ins. And this is as of last week. Of the 114 claims I've filed, 58 have already had positive outcomes. We've had a monthly award value of $147,000, but a total amount of $390,000 when calculated back to the retroactive date. This year, the county is on pace to clear $3 million through the VSO program. Why do I bring that up? Because that is money that comes into the county from the federal government, and that's money that's largely spent in the county. So it's important that we track those dollars. For 2025, on average, we've had $254,000 a month in new claims. And to extrapolate that out, it's about 3.1 million if things continue. I'm willing and available to travel anywhere in the county to meet veterans. That's not an issue. That was when I worked at ODVA, did the same thing. Go out, meet folks where they're at. And that's the outreach part of this thing, and making sure the program is visible and viewed in a positive light. I've sat through a video hearing with a veteran and the veterans law judge. That was, 2 weeks into?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks into it. And then I've had veterans come in and they're either ineligible for benefits or further assistance through the VA, but as I discussed before, have referred them to other programs. For instance, we had a homeless vet who was living in his car. He came in not on his best day. He was soiled due to incontinence. He was staying in his car. I took him back into the office and made a quick assessment. Social Security and VA benefits sometimes work together. They sometimes clash. You got to know how that works. He was on pension through the VA, which is a separate program, and it's offset by Social Security dollars. So this veteran was getting about $50 a month from VA when all was said and done. There wasn't anything I could do immediately to help him. However, we walked him up front and stayed with him until he had a gas card, a place to go and charge his phone, some blankets, socks. I got him a cup of coffee. He warmed up in the room. We got him set up with a what's the
Coordinated entry.
Yes, coordinated entry. That's the intake term. And had an appointment all set up for him, return time, all that stuff. So that's one of the things, one of the examples of how we're integrating as a staff and really supporting each other there. I also had an 81-year-old Vietnam vet. We filed on October 23rd. He had an exam on November 17th, and the VA received the exam results on the 19th. So we moved from start to finish on the 20th of November. So that's less than a month. 21st, it was moved to decision. It was favorable, and exam to decision was 5 days for this veteran. Now, that's certainly not due to my work. I could have screwed it up and made it take longer.
Don't you think management had a big role in that?
Yep.
Yep.
Sir.
And he went from, so the vet went from 60% at roughly $1,486 a month to 80% at $2,161 a month. So roughly $700 a month. So it's those little things like that that continue to add up and put money into veterans' pockets when they really need it, and also to make sure that we're getting that establishing rapport with our veterans and making sure that they understand their role in it and how I can be most effective for them in processing claims and dealing with all of the other myriad issues that come up.
Thank you, Joe. We've been super happy. The only learning curve that we've had with Mr. Bell is just learning all of the resources in the Resource Center and what FCO does. He comes with an extensive background as a veteran. Part of the work he did in the military was also in an HR department, so he really understands, you know, some of the formalities, and that translates well into doing this VA work. He trained veteran service officers across the state, so he definitely knows how to do that VSO work and get those claims done. And he does everything super efficiently. We are seeing daily more veterans than we did in the past. So we are happy. He's still on probation, so you guys can give him any kind of hard time that you want for the next 4 months, but we're happy to answer any questions in his first couple months here.
So which do you find more fulfilling, serving in the National Guard and the Army, or doing what you're doing now, helping veterans?
It's not a trick question.
Doing what I'm doing now is more fulfilling. Being able to see a veteran and really the Army and the VA or the National Guard or the service and the VA talk about cradle to grave, for lack of a better term. And that really is an all-encompassing kind of what we do, right? So the cradle being, hey, I went and I gave the oath and I signed up and here I am, to literally grave. I help people do their pre-need for burial assistance. I've helped spouses get service connection when their husband hadn't ever engaged with the VA. Those can be difficult, but they can be done. Just the impact you're able to make on people's lives is more profound and long lasting than it is with somebody in the military. You get 2 to 3 years with somebody if you're lucky, either serving under them, serving with them, or them working for you. And I feel like you get to make more lasting relationships and bigger impact in this role.
It's so nice to meet you, Joe. Welcome officially, and I appreciate all you've done for our veterans in these few short months. You've answered a lot of my questions just in your responses. I appreciate you going mobile to meet veterans in rural areas and where they're at, and perhaps West Salem as well. Always going to be curious about what barriers you find for the veterans you serve to get them to their claim, whatever their goal is, and any barriers you find yourself in terms of workload and the like. Also, I've kind of 2 reasons for the next part. One are these key performance indicators that you have already sort of elucidated, the number of contacts per month, appointments, how far out these appointments are made, all looks wonderful. The claims filed, the amount of benefit coming in. I would love to track that maybe quarterly over time for several reasons. First, I want to make sure, obviously, if we need to advocate for more resource from the state or whatever, to make sure we have the manpower to help our vets and to not only get them their claims, but develop those relationships. It sounds like you're really prioritizing that. Appreciate that. But also, and this is kind of a bit of a hit on your former employer.
Sure.
But and there's a package coming through in the short session to really focus on the pace at which counties spend the general fund dollars that they devote to veteran services. They're going to track us quarterly,
Yep.
which to me doesn't tell anybody a whole lot in terms of outcomes. It's kind of an output that isn't going to tell you a whole lot.
Right.
So another reason why I'd like to track those key performance indicators, which I think are outcomes and real substantive and change people's lives, is really what we should be tracking as a state. And just using Polk County as an example, and the integration of all of the services hitting the veterans that need it, right? It's not every veteran's going to need
Sure.
housing assistance, but I think that tells a much more rich story than kind of what the ODVA is going to be asking us to report. So I appreciate that, and may tap you for some advice there too, and how best to advocate for meaningful measures to track progress.
I will tell you that while at ODVA, we did struggle with KPIs and that sort of thing. It took quite a while to settle on a couple of things. I still don't like the outcomes because I don't, or the
Outputs.
indicators that are measured. Yeah, the outputs, because I don't think that they accurately assess what's going on. Some of the things that they're tracked, or the amount of new powers of attorney we've taken. That doesn't tell you if the veteran returned. It doesn't tell you that we're working on a case. All it does is say, yep, we've taken on representation for these people that may or may not need it. So that's, for instance.
What are some KPIs, that would be beneficial to us and perhaps our advocacy with the state that come to mind to you that aren't necessarily tracked? I mean, obviously, we're looking at dollars, number of claims, appeals. You've helped with that. I think that's all very meaningful, but curious what your thoughts are.
I would also track civic engagement, the amount of folks and leads generated from those engagement opportunities. I would track, just off the cuff here, how many, the success rate of the claims. That tells you not only how good a job I'm doing, but it tells you kind of the overall trend as far as where the VA is going, right? So if we're more or less successful on certain types of claims, that could be any number of things, right? That could be I'm good at it, or I'm not good at it, or the law and things have changed. It becomes really difficult to track some of these things because it's all anchored in Title 38 law. And that changes often. As you've probably seen with the PACT Act in 2022 that incorporated a number of changes. I don't think the VA did a good job of messaging. I don't think the state did a good job of messaging. And that certainly trickles down as to, and when I say messaging, I mean the things that impact particular groups of veterans, because the VA and Title 38 law, the way that it applies to each cohort of veterans individually, right? So you've got your Vietnam era vets, and before that, your Korean era vets. And so they each have little nuances and things that go on in those groups. So to your point, tracking numbers is only good. That's only part of the story. You have to tell the story. You have to tell the story with the numbers. I would imagine we're going to see an increase in overall dollars coming into the county as we have more and more Vietnam vets age. At some point, we're going to lose those Vietnam vets. Same way we've lost Korean vets and World War II vets, and that number is going to dip. I don't want to say revenue, but that 3.1 million we're talking about, that's going to dip.
That dip does not indicate performance.
Exactly. So you have to tell the story with the numbers.
One thing I'll add, Commissioner, is since the inception of the Veteran Service Office in Polk County, we are required to submit quarterly reports to ODVA, and it does have probably 10 of these key performance indicators that you're talking about. Because of the move of VSO under Stephanie's supervision, it also means that Joe's work will also be captured in our Need Navigator program, where we track all data in our department. So on top of the required things that we're going to give to ODVA, which does have expenditures, both of their money and of county funds and any other leveraged funds, it does have the amount of claims, the amount of appeals, how many meetings Joe went to in a month. It's really quick, and it's not going to tell you what you want. But when we add in some of the things, when Stephanie puts a report out that has all of the other things that we do with veterans, some of the stories Joe told you this morning would never be reported to ODVA of sort of the dignity and empathy that he showed a gentleman who was going through an extreme hard time. And he did a very humble job of telling that story. But I think when Joe did that and the staff and the rest of the people in the resource center saw how he helped this older gentleman out, everybody was like, Joe's our man. Like, if this is what it's going to be like, we're going to have an amazing office. But we will work on making sure that you guys have the data that you want on top of what we already have to give ODVA. And if you want any of the past reports, we can just ship those to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and do rely on the conversation. What is meaningful? What is the success metrics aren't universal, right? But I want to make sure it's meaningful to our veterans here and to staff. And we're already very much on our way. And I really appreciate your work, Joe, and appreciate the rest of FCO bringing some of these other resources in, you know, that are related, but separate with the homeless assistance funds, eviction assistance, rapid rehousing, all that wraps up into a good package for folks as they come in. So appreciate all the work.
I think it's also good, just as a reminder, that Polk County, our veteran population sits right around 7,000 veterans right now in Polk County. And our allocation from the state of Oregon through ODVA is $134,000 a year to serve 7,000 veterans. Now, the county is super generous and they contribute a bunch of money to make it whole so we can have a full-time staff person. Stephanie and I are always looking for other grant and other funding opportunities to see if we can supplement that. But if there's any advocacy that I could ask with the hats that you guys wear, it's we need double that money just to serve 7,000 veterans efficiently. It would be great to not have 3 and 4 hour wait times, 3 and 4, week appointment wait times, and to actually have more staff that can do these things quicker. But $134,000 is not a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's been static over time. And I
It's
personally,
gone up a little bit. It hasn't been static, but the increases have been, what have they been, Greg? Like
pace.
6,000 or 7,000?
2 to 3% max.
I would support an
Everybody-
increase in the lottery dollar revenue for veteran services, certainly. And again, I'll say it one more time. The state's not going to get the information they need by tracking our quarterly investments. That's been, as you say, robust over time. We need to tell the full story.
But you need to direct that money of lottery increase. That money needs to go to the counties, not to the state,
I agree 100%.
which gobbles up most of it and trickles down to the state allocation or the county allocation.
I agree.
All very complex things. So again, I thank you for stepping up as an Oregon citizen, as a veteran, and someone who's dedicated clearly from your past with ODVA. We needed you. And I'm very grateful for your service. But I don't see you as Superman. And I want to acknowledge that you're not going to make everybody happy all the time, no matter what your numbers say. I would like to have a bit better education on at least a semi-annual basis from your office about what's going on so that we don't have to hear about it when it hits the fan. Because that's the wrong way for us to be able to communicate to the public. And we almost got caught in that with your predecessor. I am curious about what and we just had a big incident here yesterday with a veteran and out South County. And I'm curious about what your role would be with someone who's encountered a major law enforcement issue and whether or not you were in the pipeline as a service to folks who have encountered some criminal activity, veterans that have encountered.
Okay.
From the department perspective, the answer is yes. So you can expand on that, knowing that you are available to go do something, and now you can add what you would do if you'd like.
We do see a number of folks that are transitioning either from incarceration or that have had past law enforcement violations. That's not particularly something that's a showstopper so far as veteran services is concerned. that really has to deal, those folks, the prior folks we're talking about, not an incident per se. Those folks, we see those on a regular basis. We don't see too many of those folks. But when they come up, it is their legal status typically isn't a showstopper for veterans benefits. And if they are in need of emergent benefits, that's the veteran portion that goes by the wayside, because there's not any mechanism to get immediate resources for somebody. Let's say if they're engaged in a law enforcement activity like yesterday. There's no immediate resource for them as far as the Veterans Avenue is concerned. So.
And let me just sidestep that for a moment, and we'll take this particular incident. I'm trying to be really, really careful here.
Sure.
But it just makes it come to mind. I mean, I know this particular individual. I think all of us do. But I wonder if that person's medical benefits will be terminated when they go into that building across the street. And yes, you're nodding your head. I don't know that we've ever asked that question, but we know that's true if they're Medicaid recipients and even commercial care insurance generally. But I hadn't really thought about the VA benefit part of it as well. But once they're incarcerated, that stops.
That does, well, it all but stops. So once they're incarcerated, their award, if it's over 10%, gets reduced to 10%. If it's 10% only, it gets reduced to 5%. They can apportion that out to their family without losing those benefits. The VA is a process where I can, if I'm incarcerated, I can kick my money out to my family. But the medical benefits all stop. That's something that's taken care of by city, county, state, and the VA does not. It's hands off until they're out. So that can become a challenge. Reintegrating those folks, you're looking at things like HUD, VASH vouchers to get them housed. There's some real challenges with folks, let's say convicted of arson, right? And so that type of conviction, how do you get that person into housing, like an apartment? A landlord's gonna look at that, and right. So there are many factors at play there, and that requires coordination with other county resources and state resources.
And but have you been engaged or, yeah, so you've done some of that kind of work. So it's possible that if someone encounters, again, a law enforcement issue, that they could, at least through family, contact a veteran service office for help to navigate whatever their benefits are that may be in jeopardy.
And there are two incarcerated veterans service officers with the state. And so I would closely coordinate with them. They're split up. One kind of has the west side, one has the east side as far as the state prisons are concerned. And I would coordinate with one of them and go in and talk, or have one of them go in and talk on my behalf. Or I really see my role on this end as engaging with the family rather than engaging with the incarcerated individual. I would leave that to the state incarcerated program guys, but I would be in close contact with them to make sure that we coordinated everything and that at least the family was taken care of and there was some sort of plan for the veteran when they transition back.
Thank you. Well, I didn't mean to take you down in the weeds too far, but I just think it's one of those little nuances that can make you not the hero really fast in their eyes. Additionally, I expect that we have a fair number of veterans that may be engaged with law enforcement that also have behavioral challenges. And so what is your role with that? And does anyone call a veteran service office for assistance, the liaison between a veteran and mental health professionals?
They do with respect to, this person has, an incident or a condition that requires, getting help. So my role typically is to interface with the VA on their behalf and try and get them into services. Typically folks that are engaged with law enforcement or have legal issues, so to speak, aren't necessarily of the means to go out and get help on their own. And that's where, as an advocate, I can really help. I can help make contacts with those folks. It really, I don't know the entirety of the system. Anyone that tells you they do, they don't. However, you need to know where to look and who to go to. And I've got that pretty well down. So I know where my lane is, and that's with the benefits side, but it bleeds over into health a little bit, and I can help make some of those connections for them, and I can help speed things along. Whatever.
Commissioner,
whatever that
there's
takes.
been numerous times in the past with our past veteran service staff that law enforcement would call either myself or veteran service officer and say, we've got this situation, this person's a veteran. They're not wanting to come into your office. Is there any way that you could come out here and talk to them and just see what's available? We do that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a protocol in our office of sending 2 people, making sure that, you know, whatever law enforcement agency is contacting us, hey, is it a safe place to go? Are you still going to be there when we get there? You know, we triage all of that part, but that's something that our office is completely willing to do in circumstances where it makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Didn't mean to make it seem like I was grilling, but I just want to make certain for the record, people realize that this isn't just as simple as filling out a form or having an interview. That your job, as we get down into the weeds, is very complex, and you won't always be successful.
Right.
And so I get it. And I want to be as supportive as possible, but you have these massive walls of regulation and then sub-walls of revenue, as you said, and benefits that you have to climb over to get to the services and the benefits for those people that you're trying to help. And so I see this job as very complex, and then it becomes very political. And so I'm trying to do my best to try and take the politics out of all of it and just get down to the fundamentals of what you can do, what you can reach easy, what takes a lot more time. And it's a very complex job. So thank you.
Thank you. I would like to think that my prior experience with as a VSO and as a combat engineer helps me blow holes in some of those barriers. So
Well put. All right.
If it's okay, just to take a minute, it's been on everybody's mind. I know you guys as a board have adopted a family or 2. Just wanted to give you some quick updates. Stephanie's going to kind of tell you how many families and kids we're looking to serve at this year's Adopt a Family program. And then our conversation last night just wanted to make me say something on the record. And that's the main reason. So Stephanie, why don't you start with the numbers?
Yeah, so as of this morning on my drive over here, we're at 879 families so far, which is trending much higher than we were at the same time last year. So this is our last week of registration for families, closes Friday at noon. Right now we're at about 2,500, 2,600 kids. About 700 of those have been matched with a donor. We've brought in about $12,000 in cash donations to help fill in some of the gaps for kids that we have not matched with a donor. Our donor registration for the adoption piece too will close on Friday also, so that we have just a solid list of who we know we have to meet needs for. We move into Western on Monday to start packing for the probably 2,000 kids that we'll have to shop for on next week. We'll be there all week. We've got about 100 volunteers signed up throughout next week and the following week to help with packing and setup and tear down and distribution and all of the different pieces that make it all go.
Where are you at Western this year?
We are in the new PE like field house, basically.
Don't let the word new PE make you think the building has heat.
Yeah, it's engine, really. But they have donated that space to us this year through the Woo Foundation, which is super awesome. And their facilities crew helps us with all the setup and all of that stuff. So we'll be there Monday through Friday of next week until it's done, getting all those boxes packed. And then We move it all to the fairgrounds on the 15th. Distribution day is the 17th. And it'll be the same drive-through style that it's been the last few years.
To some of us, that is always new PE. Because old PE was much older back then, in my day. Much old.
Yes.
Just in case there's anybody listening or following this, there are a plethora of volunteer opportunities, especially next week, basically 8 to 5 every single day at Western Oregon University. There's 2-hour shifts that you can sign up for. All of this, you can just Google Polk County Adopt a Family or find a way to get a hold of Stephanie or myself and get connected as volunteers. But our conversation on the way to our vehicles last night made me realize that I did not update the board on something that we implemented about 3 years ago. There were people, including Commissioner Polk, that just said, who is signing up for this and how do you vet them? And in the past, we kind of did the trust system on if you need help at Christmas and you're going to take the time to fill out this form, come and interview with us and all of those things, you probably need some help. At the same time, I understood that there's an accountability piece. And so we did implement a different application a few years ago. It does indicate that you're automatically improved if you do have EDRC, TANF, or SNAP benefits, OHP through the state. That already shows that you're a lower income family. But there are also lots of families who don't qualify for those, but they are legitimately going through a hard time, and a little bit of help at Christmas would be welcome. So we have not an essay part, but a question, what is going on that you need a little bit of help? And those folks need to fill that out. And then Stephanie and her team of volunteers look at those. If they have any questions, they call up and go, okay, that wasn't enough information. You need to tell us more. And then we make a decision on if they're into the program. At first, when we implemented this, I thought, well, there's probably going to be a lot fewer applications now that we're doing this, but every year we only see more applications of people that need help. A lot of that is cost of living and just the economy. It's harder. Rents have gone up, grocery prices have gone up. So we are super happy that the community steps up. Every year there's more kids that we can help. Each of those kids going to be about 2,500 at the end. We try to get each of them 3 presents for Christmas, and that's our goal. So I just wanted to update you guys that we do some form of vetting now that wasn't done in the past. So there is, you can ask me and rest assured that there is some accountability to this project.
We also do a really cool thing now too, where, so next week, we mail every family a packet that has their dash card that you've seen at the fairgrounds that keeps the line moving. But with that, we also include a thank you card. So they have an opportunity to say thank you to the families who helped make the whole process happen. Last year was the first time we did that. We got about 500 of them back. And it was really cool to be able to send those out to donors. Just this massive PDF of all of these handwritten thank you cards from the community. So those will be going out again this next week too, giving people that opportunity to do that. And we've prepped them a little bit better this time around to let them know when they got their email saying that their application was approved, that will be in there. So to be looking for that. So yeah, we also continue to partner with Christmas Cheer. So anybody that signs up within the Christmas Cheer service area, we partner with them and they get the food boxes. They don't have to do both applications. We share that information that way. And we're working with the Salvation Army to ensure that kids in West Salem are having their needs met too. So the Salvation Army is providing toys and gifts for anybody on our list in West Salem that's under 12 years old. So that's also helping put a pretty big dent in the toys that we have to come up with next week.
And just in case United Way is listening, they've been an amazing partner. You know about this thing I'm doing across the street of picking up all these pallets of returned Amazon goods. I have a crew of volunteers that have gone through 55 pallets and totes of Amazon overstock and return. You open a box, you have no idea what's in it. Anything you can order on Amazon comes in one of these boxes, anything you could think of. But oftentimes about 1/3 of it is presents that we can use for kids. So that's been a huge blessing, and that helps relieve the burden of how much money we need donated. So we probably have close to 15 or 20 pallets of toys now, just solid toys from all of the stuff that we and the volunteers have sorted in the last 3 weeks. So a big shout out to United Way because they allow us to come and pick up those pallets.
It's great. Am I hearing that there is no existing gap? Or
There is still a gap.
what is the gap? So you have 12,000 to cover the gap of folks who are not adopted.
So our biggest gap always is teenagers.
Okay.
And specifically teen boys.
Teen boys, because what they want is adult things. And so that there's a real disconnect with donors when we're asking for things that grownups would ask for. So they have specific brands they like. They, they just, the needs, their things are more expensive for them too.
Right.
So Our needs always are those like 14 to 18-year-old boys.
Things like those kits that have deodorant and cologne and kind of guy toiletries, those are like the number one thing that teen boys ask for. So if you see a deal on those, grab a bunch of those for us. And anything related to hoodies and shoes and clothing, those are always good
They ask
ones.
for little tool sets, wallets, just things that
Electric shavers.
not super fun when you're thinking about, the giving trees and some of those things. People want to buy the Legos and the Nerf guns and those kinds of things. So.
Dodge pickup trucks are also popular.
Guns? Sorry.
But
All right, y'all.
thank you.
For the opportunity.
So Joe, I just want to tell you, thank you for your service and
Yeah.
taking this on now too. And I see you're a big Seahawks fan, so go Hawks.
Go Packers.
Thank you, commissioners.
We have a need for an executive session.
No, sir.
No? Okay. Any other business to come before the board?
No, sir.
All right, we're adjourned.